Kenneth and Ellen Chessick. If you're ever in the stadium and you look towards the north, rising directly behind the Jordan Center, the Kenneth and Ellen Chessick Indoor Practice Center, the words emblazoned on the side of that building. What an incredible donation. They made this a reality, and it profoundly impacts Northern Illinois University athletics. If you don't believe me, what I need you to do at the end of our program is track down maybe Scott Simon and ask him what baseball practice was like before the Chessick Center, back when he played the last week in February, maybe the first week in March, in through there. And then track down Chad Spann and ask him about football practice in mid-November. You get the idea. The Chessicks have also contributed to the Kenneth C. Chessick Legal Training Skills Center. It was established at the NIU College of Business. It was the NIU College of Law back in 2014. And the Chessicks also established the Restaurant.com Professorship of Interactive Marketing. That was in the NIU College of Business. As a 1984 graduate of the NIU College of Law, Ken has served on the NIU Foundation Board of Directors. In 2012, he was named as an NIU Law designated alumni and was honored in 2001 as the NIU Alumnus of the Year. Ellen, meantime, honored with the NIU Law Honorary Alumna Award, and this was back in 2013. I've used the word incredible several times, and it's what fits. It's what fits best for the likes of Kenneth and Ellen Chessick. Thank you so much. And it's time to step into the Hall of Fame.
Wow, bright lights out there. Well, thank you very much for this honor. I am a graduate of the College of Law in 1984. Started in 1981. But my history goes back a little bit further than that. I'm 78 years old now, and I have a long life to look back on, and I'd like to share part of that to explain our interest in philanthropy and how Northern Illinois University has played a significant role in that endeavor. My dad died when I was 11 and we were poor, and college seemed a impossibility because I couldn't afford it. My mom was a secretary. I went through public schools, Chicago public schools. I was able to matriculate at the University of Illinois. I was an avid sports fan in high school. I loved baseball. I loved basketball, but I was short and slow, which are real impediments to playing basketball. But I could play baseball. Unfortunately, I couldn't play baseball in college at the U of I because I had to work, because frankly, there was just, it's relevant. The reason I share this with you is because many of our students here at Northern share that same history. College seemed like an impossibility. I was able to graduate college at the age of 19 and start medical school at the U of I. And that, in those days, there was only one. It was in Chicago. I became a doctor, went on to do a residency in surgery and became a board-certified surgeon. came back and practiced actually in a small town in Florida. Medical school was important in terms of philanthropy in this way. I should tell you, I'm Jewish, and I was brought up in a Jewish culture, although I myself am rather secular. But part of that culture is philanthropy. Now, I had no money. Philanthropy is far more than money. Philanthropy is leadership, energy, participation to help others. And I grew up in a culture of helping others. My first real experience with philanthropy was when I went off in medical school to Colombia, South America for the Project Hope. It was a hospital ship that was in Cartagena, Colombia, and as a medical student, I was able to help others in this, at that time, very poor country, and still is. It was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I got to give of myself and give to others, and that became a recurring theme. Giving to others is one of the most rewarding experiences I have ever experienced. And it started when I was just through service while I was in medical school. Eventually, I graduated medical school at the age of 23 and went on and did a residency in surgery. Medicine was always important to me because it is one of those fields where you can give to others. You can help people. And it's enormously gratifying. It's enormously satisfying. It's a delightful experience. I would have operated on anybody that needed surgery, whether I got paid or not. It amazed me when people would actually pay me to do things I would do for free. But helping people, curing disease, relieving suffering, was an enormously rewarding, gratifying experience for me. And that is what philanthropy ultimately is. It's not just money, it's serving other people, serving others. Now, I went on, practiced in a small town in Florida, and that was very satisfying. I did a part of a cardiac surgery residency at the University of Florida. My wife then, was my first wife, there was a wife before my precious Ellen, she hated Florida. We moved back to Chicago. She had started while I was in my residency, however, at the University of Florida Law School. I attended some classes and thought, this is really interesting. I want to know how society works as a doctor. I know how human organs work, but I want to know how society works. So I matriculated at Northern Illinois University. Turned out to be one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire life. I loved it here in DeKalb. I love the relationship that I had with the professors. They know the small classes. It was very personable. I should tell you now, I graduated in '84, a long, long time ago. I go around campus now asking students, what's your experience? And uniformly, they tell me the same thing, that their experience is similar to what I experienced. There's small classes, the professors know about those students, they care about those students, and the students get an excellent education as a result of that. We have a phenomenal university here. I can tell you that at the University of Illinois in Champaign, where I graduated, or University of Illinois College of Medicine, where I graduated, not one of those professors would have any idea who I was then or who I am now. Northern is completely different, and we have a special university that I think is one of the best, if not the best university I've ever been associated with. And my associations go back to Boston, where I did my residency at a Harvard, Tufts, and Boston University hospital, or Loyola. Nothing compares to, I think, NIU. And this is all relevant, of course, because we decided this is going to be the function of our philanthropy. We met people here who were just extraordinary. Carrie Groth was the athletic director for many, many years and was a leader of unique qualifications and exercise. She cared about the students. She cared about the athletes. She cared about the staff. And I'll say that's true of Sean Frazier as well. He's just outstanding. There's a sense of caring here at NIU, which makes it a very, very special place. Because of my history of giving back to others in terms of time and energy and leadership and services at when I was in medical school, it seemed a natural thing to do here at Northern. I love this university. It's by far the best university I've ever attended. And so it seemed like a natural way to try to give back to NIU. How can we make this a better experience for our student body? Many, many of our students came from the same background I did. A father who was either dead or not around, impoverished finances. College is going to be a struggle. I mean, I'm talking about a large percentage of NIU's student population. For us, Ellen and I have been married 20 plus years. We've been together 22 years. I should tell you, none of what I'm doing and what we've done could happen without Ellen. She is the kindest, smartest, sweetest human being I've ever known. I was really, really lucky when I met her. And fortunately, she said yes when I asked her to marry. Wow, that was probably the biggest thing in my life other than the birth of my children, one of whom is here in the audience with her wonderful husband and two of my wonderful grandchildren. The other ones, kids are younger, 4, 6, and 7. They'll be here tomorrow. But the NIU population, the NIU students they're me, 50 years ago. It seemed like a natural thing to do. Well, I met some wonderful people, Coach Novak being a good example, Kerry Groth being another one, but also the Barsemas and the Jordans. My God, when I met these folks, John Castle and Nancy Castle being others, but there's many, many others, Mike Malone and Ann Malone. I could go on and on. I'm doing this extemporaneously without notes. So when I forget people, I'm sorry. When you're 78, you don't have the memory you had once upon a time. In any case, when we fell in love with Northern, we realized we want to help this university. Now, what's the best way to do it? Well, the first way that we did it is by donating to the law school. Not just money, but leadership, ideas, using sweat equity to make this a better law school. I fell in love with the university, of course, and made the decision I want to help promote the university. Now, what's the best way to promote the university? There's probably no better marketing tool, in my experience, for a university than to have an athletic department which is successful. That made it seem absolutely logical after we started with the law school to say, how can we help the athletic department? Well, we got involved. Kerry and Mike were Kerry Groth and Mike Malone were very instrumental, along with Coach Novak. Well, we recognize that our athletes practice in horrible conditions. We're in DeKalb. My God, I remember seeing one tuba player practicing on the field where the tuba froze to his lips. Ellen and I saw some of these pom-pom girls practicing in their skimpy uniforms, dodging snowflakes. We got to do something about this. This is not right. And with the friendship of the Jordans and Dennis and Stacy Barsema, which, by the way, was just a huge treasure to us. They're wonderful, wonderful people, and we love them, and they started the ball rolling. Well, we need a practice center. And so we went, Mike and the athletic department took us. We went to Purdue, we went to Notre Dame, we went to Boise State, we went to Iowa, we went to a whole bunch of places looking at practice centers. And they were shells, and they were okay. But we realized that if we can combine the Jordan Center with what turned out to be the Chessick Center, we're going to have a structure, and that's going to be second to none in the country, the best in the world. And so that's what led us to say, well, let's fund this thing. Well, I got to tell you, when we made that decision, I was still I wasn't convinced that I was ready to give up the money to do this. But Ellen, these stuff, we looked at a smaller facility versus the big one, and we decided if we're going to do this thing, we're not going to do a half-assed job. But I wasn't yet ready to give up all that money. Except my wife said, Ken, there's no question we have to do this. And frankly, she's the reason that it exists today, because she said, we're pulling the trigger. It was one of the best things that we've ever done. And that's the second part of what I want to talk about. The benefactor is the true beneficiary when it comes to philanthropy. It keeps giving back to us every single day, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So many students we made sure that this is not just for football. We made sure that every portion of the athletic department that wants to use it can, because we have the convocation center in basketball and gymnastics as well. But we wanted to make sure that golf, we wanted to make sure that the pom-poms, we wanted to make sure that track, we wanted to make sure the women's softball, men's baseball, golf, they all had opportunities and would get use of this thing. And I'm happy to say this, we did this in 2013, and here we are 9 years later. We walk through it again today like we do all the time, get goosebumps every time we do it. All of these students that are using it, it's just such a blessing to us. We are the beneficiaries of philanthropy. And the reason I'm going on like this is because I want everyone to understand, you don't start out with a big structure. You start out with a scholarship for torts in the law school. You grow to software programs and computer programs for trial advocacy. You create more scholarships. You do more things for the law school like we did. They named a portion of that to us. But getting named isn't the reason to do it. It's the way that you can affect the lives of all of these young people that goes on and on and on, ones that you'll never know about. That's so rewarding. That is so delightfully pleasing. You don't have to know the names or the experiences of 99% of them. Every once in a while you come and you ask, how's your experience? Whenever I come to campus, which is frequently, I stop students and I ask them, tell me about your experience. Are you getting a good education? What about school class size? Or did the professors care? And they're getting the same experience that we got. Well, by contributing to the athletic departments, it raises the recognition of NIU. People learn about us through the marketing of our sports programs. They go online and they see, oh, you've got a nursing school, you've got a world-class business school, you've got a great engineering school, you've got a wonderful law school, you got a phenomenal performing arts, visual and performing arts center, you've got a great band. They learn about the many, many wonderful things that NIU has to offer, and that brings people into the university. That's the joy that we get out of philanthropy, knowing that we can help people. And I would encourage everyone, it's not about money, it's about time and energy and leadership, and you'll be so rewarded. The benefactor is the true beneficiary.
Just want to thank you so much on behalf of our family for this recognition. We appreciate it so much. Thank you.